Welcome to Forward Facing. I'm Andee Hastings.
I'm Mali Shadmary,
We are the founding partners of Hastings Shadmary Family Law,
an Atlanta-based law firm with a deep commitment to our clients, our community, and our team, whom we call the Wolf Pack.
We are lawyers,
We are also business owners,
partners,
bosses,
and best friends. Every day we work towards self-growth and mutual development.
Our 4 decades of combined experience gives us a distinct perspective on work, business, and how to navigate some of life's toughest situations.
We want to pass on what we have learned, introduce you to like-minded guests, and share our philosophies on staying positive and moving forward. Forward Facing is your inspiration to evolve. Hi, everyone. This episode is part 2 of our talk with mom, coach, entrepreneur, Blaire Herford. If you haven't heard part 1 yet, jump back to our last episode, episode 107, and listen to that first. Otherwise, here's part 2 of our interview with Blaire. Enjoy.
So we know that one of the takeaways is if you want successful co-parenting, get a new partner that's going to be supportive of that and that's emotionally mature.
And you set the tone for that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I can't get rid of this person. I'm tied to this person. People say 18 years. That's not true.
No.
I mean, I'm living proof of that. My parents still, have difficulty.
And you guys share 50-50 custody of the girls, right? So with that in mind, what are some of the biggest pointers you can give to our audience about successful co-parenting, if you could compartmentalize?
Communication is key.
Okay.
Clearly communicating things ahead of time is very important. Keeping an open mind, and then also just making sure that you're child focused. Remove your emotions, remove your ego, and everything is about the kids. Like, what is in the kids' best interest, even down to like, there's something that like you absolutely feel very strongly against. Well, I could argue my point, and I could create this big argument. Is that going to be what's in the best interest for the kids?
Right.
For me to get my way?
Right.
Because I feel strongly about something?
Right.
Or is it, hey, let's play it out and let's see how it goes. If it doesn't go smoothly, then we'll just pick up the pieces together and we'll move forward.
Yeah.
And there's just so much arguing that happens over like wanting to be right or wanting somebody else to do things a way that you want them to do them when it's not your house.
Yep. That's incredible. Just being able to let go. And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
We want to go into another kind of segment of your life, and that is, well, first of all, your education. You got your master's.
I did.
Okay.
So I graduated from the University of Georgia, and that was my bachelor's, and that will forever be one of my greatest accomplishments. I've shared with you guys, like, that was like my dream. And I can still remember like standing on that field and there being fireworks and shooting things off, and I was just so like teary-eyed staring at my daughter in the crowd. But
that is wild.
So I got my bachelor's, and then I went to Valdosta State University to get my master's. My master's is in communication sciences and disorders.
Okay.
So essentially, I was a speech language pathologist.
Okay.
I worked primarily with a geriatric population. So I worked
I never knew
called a
that.
SNF, skilled nursing facility. So
That's so
I worked
cool.
with.
Oh, I bet you were so good at that.
I loved it. I really did. I worked with patients who had dementia. So I would do like caregiver education. I would do like compensatory strategies with them. I worked with patients who had strokes. Swallowing therapy was probably my favorite. And it kind of like parallels with what I do now to a degree.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's funny because I did that for a little while. And then after I had my third daughter, I decided to stay home for a little while and just focus on being a mom. And then after I had my third baby, I hired a coach, loved the process.
Why? Let's talk about that. So you hadn't been you weren't like lifting weights and being a gym girly. And then, so what caused, so you hired a coach, like a personal trainer?
No, like an actual, like what we do.
Okay. All right. So what made you do that?
I just hated my body. I felt uncomfortable. I realized that like I wasn't taking pictures with my kids.
I so know that feeling.
I just felt icky. And at that time, I thought I was done having kids. So I was like, let's see what we can get figured out here. I had no energy, just bleh.
Okay.
So I hired a coach. I really enjoyed that. I love nutritional science. So I started taking classes and courses on that. became a regular coach, coached for several years. And then after I had Bubs, like I said, I had severe postpartum depression, and I didn't want to get on medication. So I did some research on my own, and then I hired a functional health coach. And that's when I really realized that there was such a gap in the services that we were providing to females especially. And so I went back to school and then got my functional health certification.
And what is functional health?
So functional health essentially means like we differ from traditional medicine. Traditional medicine will look at your labs and they'll say, okay, this is in range, this is out of range. I'm going to give you a medication for this thing that's out of range to bring it back in range. Functional medicine looks for like the root of the problem. So we go in, we evaluate labs, we look at everything as a whole, biofeedback, things of that nature, and then we figure out which system within the body is broken down. You heal that, and that basically heals everything else.
Wow.
And we try to do it with homeopathic remedies. I don't want to sound like, there's never a time and place for medicine, because there absolutely is. But I think that we overuse the system. We over-rely on medications. And oftentimes those medications have a whole host of other symptoms that come with it. And then you got to take a medication for that. So we really just look at like the body and the systems all and how they interwork together so that we can get you as healthy as possible.
Wow. So you're so multifaceted.
Truly.
All right. So when did you first start actually competing in bodybuilding?
2019 was my first show.
Okay. How old were you then?
29.
29.
And it's funny because that's how I met Lloyd. If I had never gotten into bodybuilding, I would have never met my husband now.
I love it.
So I just can't even imagine like where I would be
Right.
without it.
So he started coaching you like for posing or something?
So I was invited to a Rise posing clinic. And I was very nervous.
Oh my God, so was I. Oh my God.
It's very intimidating. But everyone was so welcoming and just like, I hope that anybody who ever comes into our space and is surrounded by us has that same like warm hug feeling when you walk in.
So I can tell you this. So, because Andee's aware of this story too. So I coached with Lloyd, doing lifestyle coaching for a couple years, and we always would joke. I'd be like, "I'm going on a girls' trip. I just want you to make me look hot for that." And he'd be like, "You want to turn heads? We'll turn heads. That's my job." And we did, and I loved it though. And I was always obsessed with bodybuilding, loved lifting, and I decided at the end of 2024, November 2024. And so I tell Lloyd, and I remember crying when I told Lloyd. He didn't know that. I'm like, I want to compete in bodybuilding, and here we go. And he's like, okay, perfect. Well, come to the team trainings. So December 2024 was my first team training, and the feeling you're talking about, I can attest to this. So I call Andee from the car. I get to the gym, and I'm like, I'm shaking. I'm more nervous than I am for trial.
Parking lot.
I was like, I can't. I don't want to do. I had the heels. I am like, whatever. I'm so nervous, and I did. I walked in there, and everything changed. Like every single thing changed for me. I did feel the warm hug feeling. I was surrounded by other women who were so powerful. I'm sure you were there. Just powerful energies around you that only want to see you succeed. And that's the first time I ever saw the person I'm dating now. Everything changed just from stepping foot into that gym, y'all's old facility. And y'all really have created a culture of inclusion and inviting everybody with every kind of past to come in and feel so themselves and to feel loved. And I don't know how y'all do it. It started with Lloyd, but when you came in, you can tell it's a whole thing. So talk to us about Rise Athletic Performance and Rise Athletic Club. Tell us about the business and what y'all do.
So Rise Athletic Performance is our online coaching platform. So we do most of our coaching remotely. We look at labs. We look at, what are you eating now? What should we be eating? How should we train? We really, really try to focus on educating clients. So we want to be the last coaching company that you ever need, because we want you to have the tools in your toolbox when you leave us to carry that success throughout the rest of your life. Because we are not teaching you how to diet. It's not a diet, it's a lifestyle. And one of the main reasons why most people fail is because they look at hiring a coach like a diet. Right? So I'm going to diet. I'm going to get whatever my goal is. And then when I'm at that goal, find whatever, like I'm going to move on. Well, the problem is then you put on more weight than you had originally. And that's how this diet culture has really started, is there hasn't been a good educational foundation to teach people how to eat healthy, how to move your body. And one of the common misconceptions that we get is we'll have, clients that'll come to us and they're like, I just want to be healthy. I don't want to look like a bodybuilder. Like, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. And we're like, awesome. We would love it.
Right.
Whatever works best for you. Like if you want to compete, cool, we can do that.
Yep.
But we would love for you to just live a healthy lifestyle.
Yep.
Like that's lifestyle clients actually make up the majority of our caseload. And we just feel very, very passionately about that. If you really stop and pause and you look around, if you go to the beach, go to the pool this summer and look around. Just look around. There's not a ton of healthy people around anymore. It's more out of the norm for you to be healthy and eat healthy than it is for you not to be. And so we really just want to bridge the gap. And then it's also important to us, there's a trickle-down effect with your kids. We're very, very family-oriented and really forward-facing, looking at the next generation. And then we have our Rise Athletic Club is our actual our gym, gyms, in-person gyms.
So how do you balance health and fitness for yourself, entrepreneurship with you? I know that Lloyd he's managing Rise, but you are very much involved. And then being a mother and a wife, how do you balance all that?
So a couple of different things. One, you have to be very intentional with your time.
You do.
Like you have to really be organized. You have to decide what's important. And there are seasons, right? So there are seasons where you're going to have to lean more and give a little bit more to the company. And then there are seasons where your family requires all of your attention. And Lloyd and I have really found a good balance. Now I'm more of a stay-at-home mom. I manage the house. I'm the CEO of the house.
Yeah.
And he's the CEO of the company. And at the end of every day, we kind of have our little meeting and talk about, this is what's going on with the company. This is what's going on with the house and all the kids and everything else. And we brainstorm together. So he has his strengths that he is really good at. I have my strengths that I'm really good at. And luckily, our weaknesses are each other's strengths.
Yes.
So we balance that out really, really well. I still work as a consultant for the company. So anytime we have any sort of tough cases that require an additional eye or, some fine tuning, I oversee those and help teach the coaches so that they are ready for those types of cases. But we just really tag team. We have it down now. It took us a little while to get there, but we have it down now. So I just am very, very intentional with my time.
How do you balance your own personal health and fitness? What does a week look like for Blaire? Are you going to the gym? What are you eating? How do you do that?
Really good question. I'd love to know the answer.
Give us the secret.
It depends on the season. There are definitely seasons where I absolutely prioritize my health and fitness and eating all of the things that I'm, following a very structured, regimented plan. And then there are times where I can't do that every week. You know what I mean? And so I would say I focus on being very consistently inconsistent. Fortunately for me, I did a lot of groundwork, laying the groundwork ahead of time. And so really that initial period of when you're restructuring your life, it feels very chaotic. And how on earth am I going to check off all of the things that are on my list to do today?
You're so right.
But once you kind of get the hang of that, and once it actually, once you build those habits and it becomes your lifestyle, there's not as much planning that's involved in it. Honestly, right now, I don't have to track everything I put in my mouth. I don't I got it down to a science. I have it down to a science. I have an idea of how I'm feeling. I don't have to step on a scale. I can just feel myself.
That's
and
so awesome.
Being very aware and in tune with your body is important. And again, that's one of those things that you're doing initially because you're I don't know.
So true.
Did I get a pump today? I don't even know what that is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so there are definitely times where I make it to the gym 5 or 6 times a week. And then there are seasons where I may not make it to the gym but once that month. But for me, there's no end. There's no end that I'm trying to get to. So being consistently inconsistent when you are a super busy person and learning to be okay with that is the key. So it
Right.
kind of goes back to like progress over perfectionism.
I love that. I think it applies even for our lawyers and things we teach habit building here. I agree with you. I don't think people truly understand that sometimes the habits and the rigidity from at the beginning and consistency is what brings freedom in the future. And that applies to the self, the body, your business, your relationships. When you're building something with someone, you're going to have the hard conversations. You need to be rigid and have regular check-ins and actually get to the root. Like you're saying, even in diagnosing health issues, let's get to the root. And then when you can do that, you're a well-oiled machine and you know when a problem crops up, we know how to handle this. We have the right habits. It's control of the self in the right area and it brings the autonomy and that
100%.
freedom. So it sounds like you've really gotten, like we said, down to a science on that.
Yeah, I after I had my fourth kid, it was really difficult for me to be as regimented as I was before because I got pregnant very soon after my last show that I did.
That's crazy.
And
Good for you.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
It was a little bit of a mind warp though because you go from being hyper rigid. I mean, like crazy laser focused. Rigid, and it doesn't matter if your arm is dangling from your body, you're making it to the gym that day. Like, it does not matter.
Tears.
I definitely saw that.
Yes, you will be there. Come rain or shine, whatever it is, you're going to be there.
Yeah.
And so when I had him, life was crazy. Oh God, it was so crazy, and just trying to adapt to a fourth kid, and it was really hard on me mentally. And it just took me being like, why am I being so hard on myself? Like, do I think I'm never going to go to the gym again? You know what I mean? So there are definitely periods where giving yourself grace actually helps you to move forward.
And trusting yourself. That's been a big one for me is trusting Mali and having the full confidence in myself. I will make it happen. I always do. But it does take laying the right foundation.
It's exceptionally harder when you come into fitness later in life too. Because for me, I kept going back to like whenever I first started and everybody being like, yeah, we'll see how long this lasts. Like, I'll give it 3 weeks, whatever. Like those are just constantly playing in the back of my mind. And I'm like, what if they're right? But then I always bring myself back to, no, nobody knows me better than me.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I'll outwork anyone.
Yep. So we've talked about perfectionism. And I want you to talk to the audience about what's your best advice for letting go of that, and what's your mindset around letting go of perfectionism, and why is that important to you?
That's a hard thing, and it's something that I still have to actively work on. Again, we've kind of talked about my childhood, my young adulthood. There was a lot of instability, and because of that, I would always walk on eggshells, stay in fight or flight, constantly scanning for like problems. A lot of my perfectionism was born in that because if I'm perfect, they won't get angry.
I
If
so
I'm
relate to that.
Perfect,
Yeah.
then everything will be okay if I'm perfect.
Right.
And then, having a kid young and just wanting to give her the best life ever. Like, I look at her and I'm like, I have to be perfect because she deserves that. That's what my kids deserve, is they deserve perfect everything. But the reality is there's no such thing as perfect.
That's right.
Honestly, what really led me to really work hard on that is I started seeing that trait pop up in my kids.
Wow.
And when you see someone that you love struggle with that, it's very difficult because you know that their self-worth isn't measured in.
Right.
We'll use my oldest daughter, for example. She reminds me a lot of myself. But grades are very important to her, and we have to make all A's. If we don't make all A's, the world is just going to end. And just how much stress and pressure she puts on herself to be perfect, to have perfect grades. And I'm like, why?
Right.
Like, you're still going to go to college. You're still going to be successful. Like, you don't have to just... Perfectionism drove me for a long time, but it gets to a point where it becomes a hindrance.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just a hindrance, right? And so when I was working with Tanya, one of the things that she would always say to me is like, but who set that rule?
Okay. Yeah.
9 times out of 10, you set it for yourself.
That's right.
So, like, if you get to set the rules
Yeah.
and you
Change
get to
'em.
set the standard,
Yeah.
just change it.
I
modify it.
love that.
Like, what is the goal? What is it that you're trying to achieve?
I love that.
And, like,
too.
it doesn't require perfectionism.
I love that.
So that's really, like, my thoughts on it is a lot of times it hinders you from being able to reach your full potential. And if the goal of being perfect is to reach your full potential, then it kind of counteracts one another.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Okay. Another random question is, what impact do you hope to have personally on your community?
I wish that the impact that I could have on the community is to, one, empower women, but especially to empower moms, and to teach them that they have control, they have autonomy, and how they feel, how they look, and their confidence, and their power. And so a lot of times we achieve that through health, because when you make promises to yourself and you keep them, it builds confidence, it builds strength, it builds a good internal voice. And I think that by doing so with the moms especially, that's going to have a trickle-down effect to the kids.
Yeah.
And I really just hope that, like, the next generations that are up and coming and my kids' generations, I hope that it is a more health-focused, more forward thinking group of people. And so that's really the impact that I hope to make, is I just want to empower women to know that they can do anything that they set their mind to. And I think that all starts with being healthy so that you can be your best.
So I can say that as an outsider and coming into the Rise community, and you are accomplishing that.
Oh, thank you.
In a big way. And like I said, I knew it as soon as I went to the gym at Rise and really started to become more invested in what I was wanting to do. When you are in y'all's presence, you just feel more confident. And so when you're around you're going to be a better person, period. That's been my experience. And both Andee and Blaire are people in my life that bring that to me. That's why we're all here today to share some of this wisdom with you. It's a treat when you get to absorb wisdom that somebody has put a lot of work into and been through the pain, because pain yields beauty. And I remember my first show, Andee, you were there, and we have pictures, and I just look at them and, like, how happy I was. And Lloyd was there, which was really important to me too. And I didn't expect him to be there, but he came, and you can see me in these pictures beside you two, just so comfortable and happy. So the second show, Blaire, you were there. And I was just as nervous as the first show. In fact, I was more convinced that I should not be there. And the night before my show, I was watching the Barbie movie, eating my rice cakes, had my tan on, and her and Lloyd came to the room. And it just changed my mindset, just because y'all were there to look at how I was looking, but you just breathed confidence into me, almost just an aura about her that she has. And the next day, they were tweaking how I was posing, and I don't do well in those situations. I'm very hard on myself too. And they were explaining it. We're just tweaking you. You're so lean. You look different. We're just bettering you every second till you get on that stage. And posing is just not my forte, or it wasn't. It's gonna be next time I'm up there.
Yeah.
But I remember Blaire looking at me several times and in the eye and just saying, "You got this." And Blaire has a beautiful marriage and children and still takes care of herself. I think that has always been something I've always looked up to. And she gives hope to women that you can build that. And it starts by just believing it and saying it. And Blaire and Lloyd both have such a patient approach with people. I went to Blaire's house to practice posing before the competition, and it meant the world to me to just have a little bit of one-on-one time with her. And I was very nervous. But I left that session just feeling myself. Like true.
It was the butt slap that my son
we got to
gave
tell
you.
that story. So Blaire's at home. She has Bubs. They're almost 4-year-old. And he's doing his thing. He's talking.
Oh, yeah.
She told him,
He's
like,
got to be the star of the show.
he said, she said something like, "You need to go wash your iPad and let us pose." And I'm in the sparkly bikini and the heels, and Bubs is used to that. Like, he's been a kid raised in the gym with, like, women in bikinis. We're in the foyer of their beautiful home, and I'm striking some pose. And all of a sudden, I hear little footsteps, and then all I feel is a hand smack my booty. And it was Bubs. He came running like a little flame. He ran, smacked my booty, and kept running. And Blaire and I stood there. I was roaring with laughter.
I was like, thank God it's Mali.
Because
God, it's Mali.
I think it's hilarious. Okay, so it doesn't end there, guys, because we go back to work, and Blaire is like blushing. I'm like, girl, I do not care. That is hysterical. I'll never forget it. And I needed it in that moment. I needed to loosen up. Well, he goes back to his iPad. Not 5 minutes later, I just hear I hear the feet and then another smack, and he had the devilish little look in his eyes. He's cackling.
He knew what he was doing.
It was epic. It was my good luck charm before that show. I did very well at both of my shows. I blame it on Bubs. He gave me that.
Good luck charm.
Good luck, girl. He was confident in me.
Yeah, he is. Oh boy. Oh boy. So the funny thing is, where that came from is his dad always pops me on the butt. Like anytime he walks by, it's actually, if he walks by and doesn't smack me on the butt, I'm like,
excuse me?
Is there a problem? So now he's learned to just smack people on the butt.
I love him for it. It was
bare butt and all.
Epic. So on this lighter note, can you tell us, what do you do for fun? What do you do to fulfill yourself, your womanly, like, little nuances? What is it?
I would say I really like to read.
Yep.
Fantasy.
You're a fantasy girl. You've done ACOTAR.
So all of the SJM universe, I am rereading now to get prepared for ACOTAR 6.
Go, girl.
I can't wait. And then Rebecca Yaros, so Fourth Wing. All
I love
Fourth Wing.
Fourth Wing. I want a dragon so bad. I want a pet dragon.
I do too. And I'm scared of heights. So my husband's like, what are you going to do with a dragon? I'm like, but if I had a dragon, I wouldn't be.
We would be fine.
Yeah, he would
oh
not
my
drop
God.
me. He would
I want
never
a
drop
purple
me.
sparkly dragon that breathes glitter fire.
Oh, that would be nice.
Mm-hmm. You need to read Fourth Wing.
I know. You've told me that.
It's so good. I love it. So reading and sourdough.
Sourdough.
I know. I love sourdough. It's one of those things where I just like picked it up, and again, I was like, I will not quit until I get this perfect.
I've seen you on your Instagram just baking away.
Oh yeah. So now I'm convinced that I need a little farm stand.
Oh, hell yeah.
So that I can sell all of my sourdough.
That's so cute.
And Lloyd's like, I support whatever you want to do, honey.
Course.
If you think you have time, that's always the key. If you think that you have time to do that, I think it would be lovely. And I'm like, I definitely don't have the time to do that. But in my mind, so on my TikTok, I have my you can save things, and I have my collection. I have my farm stand collection.
I love
Because in my mind, I already have one.
Oh,
so
you're
I'm
probably gonna do
collecting
it.
all of the things that I'm going to sell.
I can see you doing that. I love it.
I'm excited. Yeah, we might do like a little miniature farm stand over the summer.
Yes,
I think it would be really good for the kids too, to just kind of like dip their feet in entrepreneurship.
Yep,
and
I
be
love that.
responsible for like calculating money and selling goods and a service and
they would
all
love
of
it
that.
too.
So they would love it.
Okay, here's one more just question I'm dying to know is, do you think you're ever going to compete in bodybuilding again?
It's funny you ask that. There are potentially things in the works.
Okay, girl.
So, yes. Do I think that I will jump back into bodybuilding and like make it my life until I turn pro? Probably not.
Right.
But, last time I competed, it was 2021. Like I said, I got pregnant shortly after I stepped off stage. So I think it'd be fun to do a comeback, have a little comeback moment.
Yeah, girl. Love it. So we always end the episode with doing a check-in. It's our little forward-facing segment. So in the past couple weeks, Andee, we'll start with you. What are some ways you've been forward-facing or evolving? What you've been working on? How are you staying true to yourself in evolution?
So it's funny that you should ask this, particularly given our guest and our topic today, although I feel extremely underqualified to be participating.
Stop it right now.
I know.
I'm hissing at you.
I know.
I love it.
Like a weirdo.
I love it.
I get it every so often, and it's deserved. But I've been trying to focus a little bit more on my health. I'm somebody who always deprioritizes that for everything else, everyone else. And, there's positives to that, but the negative, I'm the one that suffers the negative result of it. And I've just decided that I'm focusing on it. There are just diagnostic things that I've needed to do that I've been scheduling and making myself do. And we're just starting with Rise, as a matter of fact. So
She's in the club.
in the club, I'm excited about that. And so it's just, it seems so obvious, but it's just so easy to forget in the moment, and time just passes.
It's challenging.
Yes. And we have a lot of similarities too.
You guys absolutely do.
And so I'm like, yeah, I can, I'm also one of those people where if I focus on something, I will not stop until it's done, and it's done the way that I want it to be. And then I'm going to find 8 other ways to make it better.
Yes, she does.
And so, I need to turn a little bit of that energy on myself. So that's been my sort of mental work more recently, is doing a better job of keeping that at least higher in the priority list with all the other things.
Of course. Well, I'm very proud of you, of course. And I just want to remind you that we can't pour from an empty cup.
I literally
pour
was
from an
thinking
empty
that
cup.
before we started this show, because I was like, that's going to be my theme.
And
that's
so
true. That's one of the things that's so hard, and I should have touched on this earlier. Women more so than men, but we have a tendency to self-sacrifice for everyone else around us. And while it is a good quality, because we're very loving, we're very giving, and we like to pour into others, it does kind of get you into a little bit of a pickle sometimes, because you have a tendency to run yourself into the ground. Right. Well, then you're burnt out and you don't have the energy to give to the things that you want to. So I always just try to remind myself that, like, focusing on my health is also focusing on all of these other things, because it starts with me and where I'm at and how I'm feeling and my mental clarity. And so you're going to run into weeks where it's going to feel like you did nothing. It's going to feel like you absolutely failed that week. And I want to challenge you to find the wins, because there's always a win, no matter what, no matter how big, no matter how small. There's always a win that you can pick from. If you didn't follow your meal plan at all, but you drank some water, you drank some water. That's right. Right. And those are things that you would not have done beforehand. Right. So even little micro shifts add up over time, and they result in really big changes. So I'm very proud of you, and we're excited to have you on the team.
I'm already excited for my pep talk.
Yes. That was really special. Agreed.
How about you, Mali? How have you evolved?
Generally, where I'm at is kind of hard position for me, because I'm highly driven and kind of thrill-seeking, impulsive, need that spice in my life. And my life's not there right now. My life is in a maintenance phase in building this business and being very present with being with my legal teams here, being present and consistent in the gym with no competition in the foreseeable future, working on some things with Blaire and Lloyd about my health and what my labs look like, and just checking boxes and working through, like, growing my relationship with my significant other, putting the right routines and habits into place for us as we continue to build what we're going for. It's just very much a maintenance phase for me. So I am checking boxes and finding the wins and finding a lot of reward in that, just sort of living in what I've created while not having something crazy huge right now, just preparing to have some rest coming up and take care of my body and be in a new chapter. So kind of boring, but it's where I'm at.
I love it. It's not
just
boring at all.
hold the fort.
It feels boring to you because of your personality.
Yeah.
It's actually not boring at all. It's actually an incredible, like, when you have this personality where it's go, 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 and you're constantly focused on what's the next thing, where, like, you like to evolve.
Yeah.
So sitting what feels like keyword, is stagnant, is very challenging.
It
It
is.
is just a weight on you at times.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important when you have a personality like that to sit in that discomfort for a little while, because it's a little bit of a reset.
It's humbling.
And it's humbling. It's a learning experience, right? Because you learn a lot when you slow down. So it feels boring to you, but it's not. It's
Thank you for that. Yeah, it's true. And I was really sick this past week. I haven't been that sick in years. And I think the universe is trying to show me something. And it's like, you pay attention to your body. It's not always going to be an up, 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 up battle. It's hold the fort. So thank you for that. So then the other little thing, my habit that's been helping me evolve, I heard on TikTok recently, if there is a task that's outstanding in front of you that would take you 2 minutes or less, just do the task right now. Because I am the queen of letting those 2-minute tasks just sit until then I'm in an overwhelmed state. Anything down to laundry or stupid shit hanging around the house, whatever, little tasks, emails to send, things that are just check the box. So I've been doing that, and it has been so nice. It's mentally decluttering, and it's a little win mentally, and the human spirit needs that, the little wins along the way. So those 2-minute tasks, I've been knocking them out. I've been picking up my socks off the floor. So Blaire, what about you?
So like you, I'm very much like, all right, what's on the docket? What's
Yes.
next? Like, I like to be moving very quickly. I don't like to sit still. I like being busy. But right now, we just have so much going on with the 2 gyms that are up and coming. Lloyd is just so swamped. And I am just really needed at home. So right now, my main focus right now is honestly just slowing down and being present and being, like truly present, not just physically present. And that's a challenge for me. So it actually requires a lot of energy, even though you would think the opposite.
No, thank you for sharing that. And I think it just applies to all of our audience, and especially to me and Andee and the women and men at our firm, the go-getters. And you're just such a breath of fresh air.
Thank you.
And
Complete inspiration.
Thank you all so much for having me on. This has been so fun.
It really has.
have to come back.
Yes.
I know. I
and
feel like I have so much more we could talk about.
I know.
I have so many things I
We
want
have to talk about peptides and all kinds of things.
yes.
So we'll definitely have to arrange that. But tell our audience, where can they find you? Where can they find Rise online? How can they reach you?
You can find Rise online if you go on Instagram and you just search Rise Athletic Performance. You'll find us there. You can find me on Instagram as well if you just search my name. But yeah, we have several coaches. We do that intentionally because different personalities mesh differently with different people. So if you are interested and you want to request a free consultation, you can do that via our Instagram, has a link. You can click on that. You will get on the phone call with one of our coaches. They'll kind of explain the process to you and match you with another coach, and then off to the races.
And we'll put all those ways of contacting you at the end of the podcast.
Awesome.
Perfect. Everyone looking for it.
Yep. So look out for that. And we can't thank you guys enough for joining us and being on this journey with us. We hope you are getting some of this wisdom from Blaire and really leaning in on it. Please message us if you have any questions. Make sure to follow us, like the podcast. You can find it everywhere. And we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please like, subscribe, and share. We would love to hear your thoughts. Leave us a comment or email us at podcast@hsfamilylaw.com. And be sure to come find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and at our website, forwardfacing.com.
Forward Facing is a production of Hastings Shad Mary Family Law and 1066 Productions. It is produced and edited by Ned Hastings.